Hi guys, my name is Kelsey, and for my ethnography final I decided to observe police officers at different parts of their careers. So I've been a police officer in Southern Arizona for 3 years this month, and I have not taken the time to kind of observe how officers change throughout their careers, and I thought that this would be a great opportunity. So for my paper, I had two separate field sites. The first one was the police academy, which is in town, and I decided to do this because I got to see how a person is when they first are starting out their careers. The academy is filled with people of all different ages and backgrounds, including new people who are just starting their careers, people who have some law enforcement type experience through corrections, people who are in the middle of their life and are ready for a career change, and those who are retiring and finally fulfilling their dreams. For my second field site, I decided to observe our daily briefings. We have 3 daily briefings a day. We are required to go to one. It's typically the one that you're going to go to is the one at the beginning of your shift. This is used to learn about what calls happened since you were last on shift the day before, and as a way to connect with your shift each and every day. So for my paper, I wanted to focus on what could be learned through symbolic interaction, the production of social order, and the production of reality through interaction. I decided to keep 5 concepts in mind. I wanted to look at how officers are influenced by presentation of self, impression management, embodiment, signs and symbols, and conformity and power. So starting off with signs and symbols, this can be seen in many different ways when it comes to being a police officer. The biggest, most known would be the police badge. This is worn by every officer and can be seen as a sign of authority, integrity, and trust. It's also a sign of the oath that each and every officer takes to protect and serve the community. Sometimes you can see a black band on the badge, and this is to show that we are mourning the loss of another law enforcement officer. Uniforms also have a patch on typically each shoulder. This can be a symbol of the department and its history. And stripes can be seen below those patches based on that person's leadership and experience. Typically, on the forearm, you get another a stripe for every 5 years you've been with the department, and then below the patch on your arm, your upper arm, those stripes represent your level in leadership. So based on like if you're a corporal or a sergeant or above. Officers are expected to have a neat, clean uniform, and this is a symbol of basically your commitment to being professional. Goffman also talks about how people in workplaces wear uniforms as a part of the social establishment's front, which can be a concept of presentation of self and how it's connected to the social identities of law enforcement officers. One of my observation days was at the academy, and I got to watch recruits at EVOC, which is our driving training. I got to watch the recruits who were being punished and had to push a very heavy truck around the driving track, and I got to watch them work together. What I observed was embodiment. The recruits are training for their careers, where they're expected to be team players and have physical endurance. They fully embodied this in that moment by taking turns and pushing themselves past their limits and encouraging each other. I also got to observe the recruits at a day where they're another day of training, and there was one recruit who was running around frantically trying to be quiet and not look worried about anything. And then I got to see like a group of instructors who were giggling and laughing. So I decided to walk over to them and observe what they were talking about. And they were all laughing about this recruit's water bottle that they took and hid from him. So the recruit was scared because he was afraid he lost something and was going to have some sort of physical punishment, like running or push-ups or something. And the instructors all thought it was funny, which I related to the concept of conformity and power, because of the concept of having a hierarchy, having a social influence, and how the recruits are afraid because they don't have the high hierarchy of social influence like the instructors do, who were just having a good time. At briefing, I got to observe my corporal. She was talking about that day how she was gonna have to leave early because her mother-in-law passed away the night before. I observed that she was really trying to hide her emotions, and I related that to the concept of impression management, which is something that officers have to do every day. They don't like to show their emotions, and when we're on calls, we're expected to not show our emotions and to be calm, cool, and collected and thoughtful with everything we do. So I got to observe how symbolic interaction, the production of social order, and the production of reality through interaction by observing the workings of formal and informal social groups through my observations. The Academy is structured heavily towards the production of social order within law enforcement. This is completed through how they are taught to act towards leadership, how they act with each other, and towards the community. The production of reality is created through social interaction. This helps officers determine what things are suspicious, threatening, or disorderly. This is learned through interactions and lessons in the Academy to patrol briefings where previous calls are discussed and trained on. I used formal periods of observations as well as informal ones in order to get a better understanding of symbolic interaction, the production of social order, and the production of reality. Thank you.